We interrupt the Girls Ask Guys show for an important announcement about Onision. He is this psychotic YouTuber who's been on YouTube for around 10 years. And now he's finally being investigated by Chris Hansen. I found out about him a couple months ago when I had a blackout in my neighborhood, and so I could only use cellular data. And then I saw this, and I was like, John, you have to fall down this rabbit hole. We have to do a show about it because it is freaking insane the way that this whole thing went down.
Yeah, I mean, and down that rabbit hole I went. I mean, oh my gosh, did I go down that rabbit hole? I only did like cursory investigation, but it has lasted for a while.
Right? Like the whole day, man. You can't put it down.
Yeah, because I mean, I went all the way back to the very beginning and just watched video after video and followed lead after lead and website after website. Those that weren't blocked or taken down or made, FBI warnings. So,
right.
Yeah, be careful when you go on those because when the page comes up and it says FBI, you probably don't want to be there.
Yeah, this man. Okay, so let's give a little history about who Onision is. Onision, aka Greg Jackson, aka James Jackson, because he's changed his name twice, or he's changed his name
several times.
Yeah, was a YouTuber who, like we said, started 10 years ago. He got really famous because he was kind of there when YouTube started, when things like this started to take off. So he's very famous. Even right now he has 1.6 million subscribers, and that's going down. Yeah, like it's dropping. And so what happened is he got into a relationship after relationship, and he kept manipulating people. And I mean, there's voicemails that you can hear. That's the first thing I said, John, with voicemails. And it sounded so creepy. And so fast forward 10 years, Chris Hansen is now investigating him for the women who have claimed that he abused them. And it's not even a claim at this point because
there's actual proof. Victims. I mean, not only that, there aren't just the voicemails. There are actual emails that have been made public that for whatever reason, the victims actually held on to those emails. There's text messages that have been screenshotted and forwarded. And I mean, it's absolutely insane what this guy has done. And I was just explaining to Ashley, this is why I got out of the pickup artist community, because I did not want to manipulate people. Like I've stated earlier, I was manipulating people and I wasn't even aware I was doing it. And now I've never done anything to this degree. I mean, I've definitely hurt people emotionally, but it wasn't traumatic. I mean, the way it went down, they felt bad.
Right.
And I didn't want to be responsible for that. And I've done what I could to make amends with those people. And we're on speaking terms.
And I think that's my biggest problem with Greg is that instead of making amends, he goes on the offensive and says, well, technically, I didn't do anything. He coins himself as the most honest YouTuber, but really all he is a self-fulfilling, altruistic piece of shit. And that's the problem is that, people are saying, hey, listen, man, you abused me, and here's the proof. And instead of saying, God, I really want to be a better person, he puts on this persona. I don't know if you saw any of his videos, but you can always tell it's going to be one of those somber Greg videos when he sits there and he's like, is it true that I manipulated this person? Yes. But, and that's
fault.
my problem. Yeah, that's my problem. There should be no freaking but. It's, yes, I did. I mean, when we discuss his relationship, his current marriage, which is, Jesus.
That's a rabbit hole all in itself.
Right? Like, because he starts dating this person who's Taylor. Then that Taylor changes her name to Lainey, decides she's agender and wants to change her pronouns to they, then transitions to a man and says that they're a man now. So it's his husband. All the while, they have 2 kids in the middle of this shit. 2 fucking children are being raised by that man, and it's alarming. Yeah,
and I mean, it even goes further beyond that when he was originally married to this girl named Sky. And then he starts going out with another girl. I mean, he gets divorced from Sky, by his own hand because of this other girl. And the document doesn't hold up in court. I mean, I've actually seen the document. It's divorcedocument.txt. Where I mean, I read that thing and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And then, she was underage to begin with.
Let's talk about the freaking rapist, by the way.
Where rape is inevitable, which was posted on his website, which is that post is now down. But he actually says rape is inevitable. And I'm like, what the hell are you freaking kidding me?
So he's grooming children to believe things like this. He's not just grooming them. He's taking there's a video and
he has a pattern. I saw the pattern.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, because go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so when he started dating his now husband, who was once a happy teenager. Well, I'm sure she wasn't happy if she ran off to be with Greg. How miserable could you really fucking be? But he met her when she was 15.
Yeah, and
15.
what is it? Oh man, it's hard to keep all these stories straight. So probably gonna have to fact check me on this one. But he actually flew out of Washington because he lives up in Washington. Actually, I know where he's at because it wasn't far from where I was stationed up in Washington. But he flew out of Washington, so he crossed the state borders to actually meet with her, have sex with her, and then flies back. And then he actually brings her to Washington. Now that's human trafficking. It's illegal.
It seems illegal. And what's crazy is that this whole time, this poor girl is being groomed. She's being, manipulated. She doesn't realize that she thinks her parents just kind of hate her and they don't understand their relationship. And what's crazy to me is that her parents, their hands were tied. And I feel really bad for them because this is your little girl, and you're watching her go with a overaged manipulative psychopath who says, I'm going to love you forever. Now he's rich at this point in his career. He's incredibly rich. So he's able to provide her with a pretty cool lifestyle for a teenager. And that's what his lifestyle is. He's a fucking teenager who got rich, right? And then, now she doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to work, blah, blah, blah. She goes to college. It's all gravy. And they want to enter into a relationship with a woman because she says she's bisexual.
Yeah. And that's how this whole thing is set up.
Right.
Because he uses Kai, his husband. I'm going to try and keep that straight because it's
important. You don't want to misgender anybody.
Well, it's an underage girl who now identifies as a guy, but has, as far as I know, hasn't had any surgical transition. But
no, she cut her hair and put on Adidas track pants.
Yeah. So he uses her to establish the friendships with these underage girls. And the thing is that they identify with the girls who are having some kind of either a social problem or a family type problem. Right. So that's what they're in. And they're showing them a way out. And most of them are fans of his channel. So he's using his status of fame or influence or being an influencer to lure them in, or at least Kai is. Then once Kai has that relationship established, then he steps in. And it's a repeated pattern. I mean, I've watched almost every interview with those who came forward, and that's the pattern that's established.
It's traumatic to me to watch other people. It's traumatic, because watching them go through this, and they're young, they're so young, and you kind of, personally, I was like, oh, this easily could have been me, as a kid, because as a kid of the age that we're in, of the digital age, we didn't really we had this whole entire world and a computer access to us, and we had access to millions and millions of people, and easily it could have been any single one of us who fell victim to this fucking psychopath. And what really bugs me is that his now husband, back then wife, doesn't see anything wrong, doesn't even realize, because she was so young, that she is literally grooming these kids to come and be with her and her husband in this fucking weird trinity, as he calls it. But really, it's just a mini cult with a fucking with a guy who is crazy as fuck and thinks that he's a god.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's established his own religion. I mean, I came across that and I was like, wait, what? This is a religion? And then I saw the document, and it's his own, well, it's an unrecognized, but it's his own religion and his own thought process. And his thought process, now, this is the thing about his thought process. It hasn't changed, because what he posted back in 2008, he reaffirms every few years. So his thought process has not changed. And when he says rape is inevitable, well, you can't see many of those videos now, but there's enough documentation out there that if you dig hard enough, you'll find it, where he reaffirms it's inevitable. Follow my rules, and his rules are fucked up.
They're fucked up. And it's like, we have them sign NDAs, which actually, isn't that bad. A lot of celebrities have NDAs signed if you're going to have like a one-night stand with them. And that's understandable because they want to protect their assets. But his are contracts, and they're weird contracts for teenagers. Yeah. And they're teaching these kids that it's okay to enter in this kind of relationship under the guise of, you have total control over me, and if you break one of my rules, here's punishment.
Yeah, and his his contracts don't hold up in court. They're not legal contracts.
Yeah, he's fucking psycho.
I have NDAs, and I've never had to use them, but I do have NDAs, and they are legal NDAs. But I don't have anything to hide, so I don't need an NDA. I mean, I have them prepared in case we do come across something later on that those documents would be needed. But he just whips them out and here, sign this. But they're looking at something and they're believing it's a legal contract. But he also comes out later on and he says that if you are raped and you do not report it immediately, then you're just as bad as the rapist.
Right. Not taking the time. Yeah, exactly. Not taking the time to understand the embarrassment that most people feel, or the shame trauma that most people feel, the trauma alone that most people feel. You're saying, well, that's the truth. I'm the most honest YouTuber. No, if you were raped and you don't report it, you're not nearly as bad as the person who violated your fucking body. And this is the thing, is that there are people who will listen to him.
Yeah.
And say, oh, he's right.
Well, he has no idea what the process is afterwards, because it's almost like going through the whole thing again. Because first you were violated by a stranger. Well, now you report it. And guess what happens? You go to the hospital and you meet now these are certified nurses. They're going to violate you all over again.
Right. And then you have to go to court. You have to tell your story a million times.
Well, you have to tell your story like 4, 5, 6 times. And hopefully nothing severe changes in the story.
Right.
Because, as time passes, you remember details, or your imagination becomes into it, and your story might change a little bit because you believe your perception changed. So I didn't remember this correctly, and actually you did. It's just now your imagination kind of goes one direction, and and
not to mention like the stigma behind it. God forbid you're being cross-examined by a prosecutor, by
a good prosecutor.
A good lawyer who's going to wipe the fucking floor with you. So to say that rape is inevitable, to hold these positions and to have this fan base, is a problem. And that's where my issue one of my biggest issues with this motherfucker is that he has such a high count of teenage people following him. Teenagers.
Yeah.
Listening to this. And teenagers are more easily influenced than 8-year-olds.
And this is why the FTC is stepping in.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, we are looking at putting up a YouTube channel, but on December 10th, the FTC is stepping in and they are going to
regulate, so to speak.
I want to say regulate, but more like assist in regulating. And what they're doing is they are targeting channels that are targeted towards children.
Absolutely.
Which, in my opinion, is a good thing. I mean, it's going to be, unfortunately, there's going to be side effect fallout from this. I mean, channels that are not intentionally targeting children are going to be hit. And this has been going on for a while. YouTube has not made any secret of this. They've given more than enough warning. But then again, YouTube is a business. It's a privately owned company owned by Google. They are going to protect YouTube so that YouTube survives, so that those that make a living off of it can still continue to make a living off. But how that's going to change is beyond.
It's weird.
But people like this need to be taken down.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not even an argument of you don't like his content. There's plenty of content out there. There's plenty of religious content out there I don't agree with, you know? There's plenty of things. But this is literally when you talk about the mind of a teenager, and like I said, I don't care what anyone says, teenagers are the most easily influenced because that's when you begin searching for a purpose. You begin searching for connection. You begin searching for your path in life. You see somebody like that and they say some general bullshit that kind of makes sense because it's paradoxical. You know, when you're going up, you're really going down.
Yeah, that's how Hitler got in power, because he veiled his message in partial truth. I mean, it was veiled just enough that you really can't argue with it, but there's a little bit of doubt.
Yeah.
And that's how manipulators work.
And I think the problem, and you know, just to go back a little bit on his story, these timelines are fucking insane.
Oh yeah. I mean, just that one little video that you sent me, and he attacked that one girl. What I lost count how many times in just 3 days. I mean, it was
3 days.
Bam, 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 bam. And he's going from one extreme to the other. Oh, I forgive you. I'll never message you again. I promise. The same day, another message. And he's attacking her. I mean, you don't understand me. You don't do this. You don't do that. And then it's like a couple hours later. I'm sorry, forgive me. I mean, what the hell?
Right. And it's crazy. That's the one girl, I think her name was AJ. She was the one girl that was the closest to his age. And in literally, I guess they were talking for two weeks. Or 3 weeks, sorry. They were dating for 3 weeks. 2 of them were virtual. The first time he met her, he like jumped on her and apparently it was awful sex. Yeah. And all these things. And she, as an adult, you know, with an adult fucking brain, was like, I can't do this. Yeah. You know, and I'm not going to do this. I'm going to walk away. And she blocked him from social media, as you do when to break up with somebody crazy. And he got that taste of what it's like to date an adult, what it's like to date someone who's not 15
Who's not going to fall for your bullshit.
Isn't worshiping you because you made a funny fucking video. Because you're mentally unstable, she walked away. And not only did you hide under the guise of having BPD, which is fucking self-diagnosed, by the way, self-fucking diagnosed BPD, but then you proceed to in one of the videos, I'm going to release everything, all the screenshots. Everybody's going to know exactly who you are. What the fuck?
Most of it is made up. And
right.
I mean, you go to, if you have concerns over your mental health, okay, fine. Go ahead and research it a little bit. If something matches, then go seek professional counseling. I've been in professional counseling for PTSD when I got back from Iraq. Mm-hmm. I know when something is about to happen, so I can prepare for it. And I can warn others, hey, if I hit a depression or I'm acting a little bit strange, it's because of PTSD.
Right. Right.
But
And to have all that money.
I didn't self-diagnose myself. I mean, I had concerns, so I went and I sought out a counselor. I did the adult thing. I didn't try and cover it up. But
I think the one thing that a lot of people confuse is the fact that he has so much money. So what kids see is a guy who made a lot of money on YouTube. He must know what he's talking about. Money doesn't equal maturity, and money doesn't mean you're an adult. The Olsen twins were multi-millionaires by the time they were fucking like 6.
Yeah.
They weren't adults by any means.
Well, even what's his name from Home Alone?
Macaulay Culkin. Holy shit. Macaulay Culkin's
he never
stupid
grew
rich,
up.
dude. Like, he didn't have to. I mean, hell, but that's what my point. Like, you give a 16-year-old $42 million, chances are, they're going to end up crazy as fuck. So with Greg, he was young. He made a bunch of money. He never had to grow up the way the rest of us did.
Well, he had a stint in the Air Force, which surprised me. I was like, what? I mean, holy cow. I mean, I was diving down that rabbit hole and I saw that link at the bottom and it said, whatever the hell his screen name is. I can't pronounce it, but this military. And I was like, what? So I clicked on it and sure enough, there it is. And then there's a copy of his discharge paperwork, his DD-214, and it's an honorable discharge. So he was an adult at some point in time, but he created his YouTube channel in 2006, didn't upload anything until 2007, which was 1 year before he was discharged. So, I mean, he was already producing videos. Now, I don't know when his website went up, but I'm pretty sure if the Air Force found out about it, it's assuming he was still in the Air Force when he created it. Yeah, he probably would have been called in and ordered to go see a psychologist.
Yeah, the fact that the military missed the clearly antisocial behaviors of that guy lets you know how much of a manipulator he is. And it's clearly something that, I mean, I don't know how far you got into the rabbit hole, but when you dive deep in, he is the fucking worst. And there are so many videos about how terrible he is. It's almost as if this shit's made up. Like it's a giant conspiracy. Because to me,
yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to see the movie, but I'm not going to pay to see it.
Hell no, I'm not going to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I would support that. I mean,
no.
But yeah, I mean, the stuff that he has posted, the stuff that he has done is... Yeah, Hollywood can't come up with this stuff because a sane person, their mind just doesn't work. Even the most fucked up stuff that we see in movies, I mean, a sane person can't make this up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't believe the shit that I was watching. I didn't believe the shit I was seeing. It was crazy.
Have you seen the video where he reacts to where he's being investigated by the FBI?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, I was like, what the hell?
Was that the meltdown one? Did you watch the meltdown?
Trying to force himself to throw up.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's
I'm not
hilarious.
An alien.
Yeah, he's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, and I almost pity the guy because he's about to come down hard. I mean, he's already been hit with a fine because he damaged the wetlands in Washington. Patreon yanked his fucking Patreon. So boom, there's your income, buddy. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, YouTube is probably going to yank his channel. He's going to really, really, really hit the hard world. And in one of his videos, he's like, what do I have to work a regular job? And I'm like, good luck.
Welcome to the real life.
Yeah, right. And I got news for you, buddy. Adults aren't going to take your shit like that. You're not going to go around.
Especially if he winds up in prison. Guess what?
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're going to find out exactly how polyamorous relationship works.
Yeah. You're going to have 2 husbands, right? And one of them wasn't going to be born female. And it's very, and I'm sure you haven't seen this, but his Twitter is very vulgar and it's disgusting. And I don't even want to read some of the tweets. I was watching a video where someone was reading his tweets and they were so disgusting and so juvenile because you don't do that. Like they were like, ugh.
In one of his documents, he and I had to actually open up this other document here. He stated in one of his documents that he was tired of the term girl power as it, and this is quote unquote, turns into girl disgrace when they put their might up against a man's. I was like, actually, I know quite a few women that
beat the hell out of you.
They would beat the hell out of you.
Like, and the thing about the real world is this. We see he lives in this fantasy YouTube world where everything is based on him, and he's the center of his own universe. He's also made himself the center of his wife's universe, or his husband's universe, sorry, his children's universe. He's made himself the center of these teenage girl fan worships. Here's the thing, dude. You will get knocked the fuck out by real adults for pulling this shit. Like, the fact that nobody's parents have come to your house and shot you is beyond me, because had that would have been me, my mom would have beat the hell out of you.
Yeah. I mean, Lord help him if I actually had to go drive
if I had to go get my
thousand
kid,
miles. If I had to sit there, and because I don't have a credit card, so I mean everything I do is in cash. Been doing it for years. Anyways, if I had to like put everything down, take time off of work, go up to Washington to get my daughter.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord help you. I mean,
oh my gosh.
I mean, even if it was one of the girls that I was teaching martial arts to, because or gymnastics or something else like that. I mean, I've dealt with lots of underage girls. I've never been accused of anything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I would be now martial arts. Okay. Teaching, MMA. Okay. Or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Take a look at some of those positions. They are compromising positions. And here I am, a grown man working with a 14, 15-year-old girl. And her mom or her dad is sitting right there watching. And I'm explaining, okay, this is an open guard. If you don't know what it is, think missionary position. Okay? Ugh. So I'm like, okay, this is open guard. Are you comfortable with this? And okay, mom, dad, this is what it looks like. Are you okay with this? Or if I'm teaching a girl how to work the balance beam or do a back bend walkover, okay, you have to support the back. And it's like the lower back, not her butt, lower back.
Right, exactly. And that's my point is, dude, I used to work with teenagers too. I used to work at this freaking borderline homeless shelter, and I worked with a lot of kids. Never in my life have I ever been accused of a damn thing. Why? Because I understand that, number one, ew, but also number two, like, what the fuck is wrong with these kids? And to an extent, their parents, that if you have a teenager and you're listening to this right now and they're worshiping the ground this guy walks on, you need to talk to your fucking kids, because they are in danger of coming into some really dangerous rhetoric.
Yeah, because I would explain something, or I would give a life tip or something like that. And I mean, it becomes that single phrase that I mentioned to them became like their world.
Exactly, because they're fucking kids, and kids are dumb.
Yeah, and if I wanted to, I mean, they were everything I did. I mean, the clothes I wore, they started wearing those clothes. If I had a shirt, they were buying the shirts. I mean, I was like, what's going on? And I was like, don't follow me. I'm messed up.
Right? Well, but I get you. Like, it's really sad, the influence and the target demographic. I mean, marketing wise, if you were talking about a marketing strategy for this guy, you would call him a genius. But human wise, he's a piece of fucking trash, and he needs to be taken out. And like I said, if Chris Hansen said, Ashley, I'd like to do an interview with you, the first thing I would do is shoot myself, because clearly I done fucked up. Chris Hansen is known for one thing and one thing only, and that is pedophiles.
Yes. I mean, if he wants me on the show as like some kind of witness or something, or get my perspective. Hey,
Right.
Actually, I shouldn't be a witness because that means I was there.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, you don't want to be a witness either.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but if he's like, we need to talk, yeah, something's wrong.
Have a
I
seat.
need to go find a
I'm gonna go get a
non-extradition
lawyer.
country.
Right. I'm going to Cuba because there's no way I did. And that's just the thing. And you see the video where he mocks Chris Hansen, and that doesn't look good for you. It doesn't look good because Chris Hansen is he's like the American hero when it comes to nailing pedophiles. So he is. I mean, if Chris Hansen looked at me and said, "You know that guy right there? Yeah, he touches kids. Guess what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna believe him."
Oh yeah, he's like, and one of his, it's like a brief statement. I mean, they're investigating TikTok, they're investigating Twitter. I mean, I was like, oh, Hansen's got himself something.
Play. Yeah,
I mean, actually, it needs to be investigated because the way that Greg was actually able to get through all of this is because he's using, and this another hallmark of manipulators is that he looked and he studied the terms of service, and he's able to work that in his favor. He found loopholes pretty much. So anybody that came out against him, he
copy struck their videos. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, because he's set up as a music video or a music site because his site, that banana song, whatever the fuck that is.
Weirdo. Fucking weirdo.
Yeah, he changed it over to a music site. So now he's able to use DMCA on him.
And that's impressive, I guess, technically. And clearly he's not an idiot. I would never say he's an idiot, but most
criminals are not.
Right. He's Charlie
they can be
Manson.
stupid, but they're not idiots.
And he's very stupid. And that's what his biggest downfall is going to be. He's very stupid. There's a lot of documentation about all the shit that he's done. And he has no idea how serious, how much trouble he might actually be in. And he's underestimating Chris Hansen and the power that guy has. Once again, this is a man who literally is known for saying, "Why don't you take a seat?"
And law enforcement actually loves people like Chris Hansen because when all the evidence that he has gathered, he can turn over. Now, they don't need search warrants or anything else because you have to actually know the law. It's called silver platter. He's going to turn over all of that documented evidence, untainted, and say, here you go. And it's handed to law enforcement and the court system on a silver platter.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, all that stuff that he's already found, and Greg is like so smart. Now he's like deleted it.
Yeah, he deleted something off the fucking internet.
Yeah. It's hosted on somebody's website somewhere.
Yeah. Somebody's got a video about it. And that's, like I said, that is how dumb he is. He doesn't realize. He can't even fathom. I mean, when we talk about this guy, we talk about, his husband and how his husband, who I believe actually is probably going to be the one to be hung out to fucking dry. Because there's evidence of his husband getting nudes from minors.
No, actually, they were emailed directly to him because it was on one of his forums that he took down, I think 2 years ago now.
Yeah, because the girls who were sending him videos saying, like, do I look good in this bathing suit?
Yeah, it was, get rated by...
Yeah, get rated by Onision.
Onision, yeah.
Yeah.
And he would rate girls as young as 12 years old. Ugh. I mean, partially dressed, and he would rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. Which,
can you imagine?
No,
I can't.
I'm trying to keep my temper down.
I don't understand what I don't understand, because I think there's a lot of YouTubers who are not his biggest fans, obviously. And I think one good thing they've done is they've kind of banded together and they've really tried to stop his income and sort of force him off the internet, which is like vigilante justice. It's one of my favorite things in the world, by the way. And he doesn't seem to think, he seems to think people are doing this for money, which some of them, yes, money is good.
He's a god. I mean, he's all intelligent. He knows everything.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually one of his statements. I mean, my thing is, I have the facts. I've got the facts. I know the truth. Dude, no, you don't.
Yeah, the truth is,
I know many things, but I'm only an expert on one thing, and that is my opinion.
Right. Right, exactly. I don't know a goddamn thing about anything. And this is the problem with people who, once again, are able to make money and live in a little bubble. And he lives in this fucking bubble, man, and it is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. And he doesn't realize that once this bubble pops and he has to work a real job and he has to, first of all, he has to find a real job.
10 to 12.
Yeah, right. Because he really should go to jail for pursuing relationships with minors. I mean, there's dudes who didn't even show up to those trap houses and they got kicked off. They got sent to jail. There's dudes who didn't even, they were just sent to jail for literal conversations. So the things that he does, even if he says, "Oh, we didn't technically do anything until we were 18,"
doesn't matter. I mean,
ew.
Now every state is different, and how they write their laws is different, but in general, it's pretty much the same. If you exchange sexually explicit emails or text back and forth, guess what? You just committed a crime. So, I mean, even if I was, I'm not doing it. I'm using this as an example.
You should not be doing that.
Even if I was texting a minor, I mean, it could have been over just about anything, and I put in there that I wanted to kiss her. Guess what? That's sexually explicit. So, I don't understand it. I'm just using that as an example. Please don't investigate me for that.
I mean, you can
I've never done it.
Go for it.
But yeah, in some states, mentioning that you want to kiss a minor, it could be against the law, and yes, you can serve time for that.
You should serve time. I mean, and that's the thing. You can't just do these things. And that's why I'm really, really glad that Chris Hansen, of all people, is stepping in, because now people are paying attention. People who didn't even know he existed. People, like parents. Parents didn't even know this guy existed.
I never even knew he existed, and I have like a master's degree in YouTube.
Right? I found him a couple months ago. Because we were busy being adults with adult lives. And he's been on YouTube for a while. And, like I said, parents didn't even know that this guy existed, which begs the question, how many other fucking weirdos are out there trying to influence your children into thinking, number one, I have no problem with polyamory and all that stuff. You want to date more than one person, you have that kind of energy, God bless you. But you want to date, when you start using your husband or wife or spouse, let's just say spouse, just to maintain political correctness, when you start using your spouse as a
bait
introduction, as bait, exactly, as bait, and then saying, okay, you're just going to be with my spouse, they want a separate relationship because they're bisexual, and then it's, well, what about if we all had a relationship?
Yeah.
What if...
that's his MO. That's, no. I mean, he would... Because, I mean, the kids that are... Well, like the one interview that I saw, I mean, she was kind of questioning her sexuality. Right. And so she considered having a relationship with Kai, the spouse. And then she never actually went to the house. Yeah. But I forget what they called the house. It had some kind of special name, but really cool. Apparently he was like using Kai's phone to text back to her as Kai, and then no, it's really me. I mean, how would you feel about this? And then he actually got her a plane ticket, and will only come out if you think there's 25% chance
that
this could go from friendship to sexual.
That means that
she's underage.
You're planning it. Right.
Yeah. I mean, she was still underage at that point in time. And
so clearly he's planning on trying to manipulate sex. And once you're out there to his fucking, what I would like to call a den of garbage, when you're there, where the fuck are you going to go? You know, like that's scary. That's
what
scary.
he did to that. That's what he did to. That's what those two did with another girl. I believe it was Stacy, where they actually got parental. They got custodian.
Yeah, Sarah. I think her name was.
Sarah. I mean, they were able to convince their parent, and apparently their mother was like torn because there was really no other choice that they left her. So she signed over custodial rights. And as soon as she turned 18, now they groomed her from 16 to 18. As soon as she turned 18, then they had sex with her, which is technically not against the law because she was of age, but they groomed her from 16 to 18. I mean, oh my gosh.
Right? And it's like, okay, number one, I'm not going to take issue with the parent. Obviously, I'm sure her mother feels like garbage every day of her life.
I mean, she did.
So there's no need to rub that in. Obviously, that's the biggest mistake. But to do it under the guise of, listen, we're offering you a home. We love you. You know, we know things are rough, and you're targeting these poor kids. And I know, obviously, that's the way to do it because no person in their right mind or no person in a stable environment would agree to any of that shit. But to do it and then, you know, almost literally deny it and say, oh, nothing happened. What the hell? Like, there's literal screenshots. The problem with being a YouTuber and being a quasi bullshit cult leader is that your dumbass is doing this on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that comes into any kind of being an influencer or becoming famous, or best way I could possibly put it is you're not part of the like normal population because you've risen above to where lots of people know who you are. And like, I'd never really heard of Gary Vee until Gary Vee was introduced to me. And apparently he's been wildly popular for years prior. But when you get to that kind of status, it comes, whether they want to admit it or not, it comes with a certain responsibility. Like all these NFL football stars that are getting into problems, and the baseball star. I don't keep up with baseball, so I have no idea who any of them are.
Yeah, I don't.
But they're getting in trouble for the same exact bullshit where they're using their status to lure these kids in and promising them the world, but they only have one specific thing that they want to do, and that's to molest them. That pisses me off.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, you know, the saying, I think it's actually a Bible quote, too much is given, much is required. But it's like, what they're saying is when someone gives you a large platform, use it to do some shit like Mother Teresa, who I'm sure was, I know there's a lot of research on her being a fucking sociopath, but I'm just saying, like, do something fucking good. Don't use it to, like, take kids into your house and trap them in there, you know, and groom them for 2 years and then say, oh, you're only going to be with my wife or husband or whatever. And then we're going to turn this into a 3-year relationship. And then when you leave, we're going to trash you and fuck your self-esteem up. We're going to destroy you.
I mean, he destroyed lives because when these girls finally figured it out and they were like, no, I'm done, he went off the deep end. Mm-hmm. I mean, and just trashed them. And some of them, it's going to take them years to get their lives straightened back out because everything, all the lies and everything else, and unfortunately, people believe what they see rather than the truth.
Right.
And, I mean, it's going to take them years to recover. I mean, thank God none of them actually committed suicide.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing, and I'm like, God, you know, like, I'm glad they were strong enough to be able to tell their story.
Hopefully there isn't somebody out there we haven't heard of that actually did commit suicide, because we don't know how many victims he's had over these last 10, 15 years.
Fucking internet predator of the worst variety. He's an internet predator who profited off his prey. And not only did he profit, but he ruined their fucking lives. And it's just so frustrating when I see it, because I wonder, you know, like I said, how many other weirdos are out there trying to do the same fucking thing?
Unfortunately, too many.
Why aren't we killing them? Why are we not putting neat bullets in these people's heads? Because these girls now have to create. It's hard enough being a teenage girl. Could you imagine being a fucking teenage girl whose life is completely ruined?
Yeah. I mean, publicly. I mean,
to the point where you're talking to Chris Hansen.
Yeah. I mean, millions of them. And I mean, and watching some of those breakdowns that these girls had, because there is one YouTube channel out there, Rapazio. Repzion. Yes. Repzion.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he actually has clips that these girls posted out there, and it's of them pleading with him to stop, and he doesn't. I mean, that is, I mean,
the Shiloh video. Yeah, that shit's fucked up. She's like crying and like, stop talking about me. Stop calling me. Leave me alone. Like, leave me alone. He actually had.
And he doesn't. I mean, he's attacking her on every social media platform and her phone.
Right.
I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, the fact that he thinks that the world revolves around him and everything belongs to him, and women are pretty much worthless because he's actually stated that, but then he like flips it. I've read through several email documents that these girls released. And down at he starts off one way and then he flips it around and, oh, well, that makes sense. No, he's clearly stated women mean nothing to him.
Mm-hmm. Nobody means anything to him. The only thing he cares about is money, clearly, because his YouTube is still up and he's still monetizing it, and he's using it to post these psychotic. And I honestly think that he's not even a sociopath the way he pretends to be. He's just a fucking immature child.
Yeah.
Like, I don't actually think he's mentally ill. I think he's a child.
No, he's using his self-diagnosed mental illness as an excuse as to why he acts the way he acts. He found an out. That he believes he's found himself an out. No, he hasn't. And
yeah, no, you're not. No, there's plenty of people living with BPD who don't fucking manipulate children into threesomes with their transitioned husband. And that's the thing. There's so many people out there living with this disorder that and it's fairly common. Borderline personality disorder is fairly common, and it's the subject of many documentaries. Many of them. So to say, well, it's my BPD's acting up, well, you had means and motive to get help.
Yeah. I mean, well, he did. I mean, now he's going bankrupt. Serves him right. I mean, he had to sell. People want to feel sorry for him. No, fuck him.
Fuck him? Yeah, exactly. Fuck him.
Because sorry for him. I don't feel sorry one iota for him. And anything that's coming to him, in my personal opinion, can't be enough, because he has destroyed lives. These girls who are going to have to live out the rest of their life with this. Yeah. And it's going to affect every single relationship that they have after. Because I've gone out with these types of girls. Very wonderful girls. I mean, I wish them the absolute best, but because of what happened to them in the past and that they cannot resolve it, there's just no future in it for me. I mean,
trauma's real.
Yes, trauma is very real. And unfortunately, I mean, I wish I could help them. I wish I could do everything for them and just clean it up for them. And
the only person who can deal with their trauma is them. Yes. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And when you damage somebody at such a young age, it's kind of permanent, dude. Like, honestly, when our childhood traumas are probably the most permanent thing about all of us, and they shape the way we the way we live, the drugs we take, the experiences we do, the numbness that you must feel. And obviously, they're healing, and I think it's wonderful. And Chris Hansen was nothing but supportive, and he really, really is an awesome victim advocate. Like, if I were to ever get in trouble with this kind of thing, I would love for Chris Hansen to be my counselor. But the damage that he did at such a young age, it's fixable. Yeah, and it's patchable, but it's not fixable.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so selective over anybody that I train, because I will not train a piece of shit like this. Because the stuff that I have talked to people who have listened to our show so far, And I've had relationships with these people for years prior to this show coming out. And they did not know that I was in the pickup artist community. And they have listened to just the examples that I have given. And they're like, you are very effective. That would have worked on me. And that's not, there's little minute things in there that I have not released because I don't want somebody listening to this show and then going out there and doing this to young women.
To anybody. I mean, obviously, the biggest problem is that it's children. But even if these were adults, this human beings, this subhuman being who thinks that they're a god, but really they're just scum, thinks, if I do everything and I base it on the guise of truth and I say I'm the most honest YouTuber and I tell them, all of these things, that he's going to absolve himself. He almost tries to absolve himself. And if you watch comments on his YouTube, so many people say, this reminds me of my abuser. This reminds me of my abuser. And if someone reminds you, it's one thing if one person says this reminds me of my abuser, but when at least you can make a fraction out of the number of comments that remind someone of their abuser, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah. I mean, well, just reading over his mentality from his early days and then seeing it repeated years later and reinforced again years later. I mean, he has something mentally wrong with him. There's something in there where he does not think how we term as a normal human being.
He never had to. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He never had to. And now he has to. He has to figure out, his income got shot. You know what I mean? Like,
and thank goodness, because that income was, that was one of the first of all, these girls who follow him and they look up to him, they idolize him. And then he starts paying attention to him. That's like a dream come true. Right. For many women out there, a young Tom Cruise comes in and he starts paying attention to him.
Right.
You're like everyday, ordinary, work a mediocre, minimal income job, and then all of a sudden Tom Cruise starts paying attention to you. Personally, I think the guy is nuts, but he's a good actor.
He's fucking insane, yeah. But he's a very good actor. Tom Cruise, as crazy as Tom Cruise is, I would never want to see Tom Cruise's career. He's nuts. He's absolutely insane. But he's a Scientologist, and that's fine. And that's where I say that the responsibility isn't, I don't have a problem with his content, or no, I do have a problem with his content. I have a problem with his mindset. But my main problem is that his giant audience is teenagers, and he knows what he's doing. Obviously, teenagers are an ideal target market when you're an internet person, because that's all kids do. They don't even talk to their parents anymore. But to lead these kids on and to start grooming them and to becoming your sex slave, like literally, and that's the best way to put it. Yeah.
That's literally what he's looking for. He's looking for somebody that he can have his way with for as long as until he gets bored with them, and then he kicks them out and finds another one.
And then trashes them online like a fucking
trashes them online when they're like,
we don't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
we don't fucking trash
I've broken up with many girls, but there's only one or two that it was actually a bad breakup. And that's partially my fault because I didn't take the time to find what kind of relationship I wanted, or trying to figure out what kind of relationship she wanted.
Right.
So there was and when the two didn't mesh and we started having a falling out, it ended rather badly.
But I'm not going to trash you on the internet. We're going to have a bad breakup. I'm not going to trash you
on the internet. And I'm not going to sit there and turn around and make public every little thing about her. That's just wrong.
It's wrong. It's very wrong. And it's wrong. And for them to do it, it's a 15-year-old, 16, 18 even, you're going to trash somebody on the internet. That's your kid, he's like, damn it, he's over 30. And some of the stuff happened when he was almost 30. And for him to number one, he broke up with one of the girls because she smoked weed, and then tried to make her get a tattoo. He like locked her in a basement.
Oh, yeah.
It was all kinds of crazy shit, and I'm like, what the
Is that
fuck?
the one that was having a mental breakdown and he's sitting there filming her and she's like, get the camera
that
off
was
of me?
Shiloh. That was the bald one, right? She was kind of bald. He shaved her head.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
she's still saying that she's going through therapy for that.
You have to. I mean, you shaved. If someone told me to shave my head, and that's, I guess, another thing that we need to really address is the fact that someone told, as adults, we have a responsibility. I don't have any fucking kids. But I also have friends with kids, and I know there's things that teenagers keep from parents. Let's just be honest. As a teenager, half your life is hidden from your parents. But there are things you need to talk to your kid about, and this is one of them. This entire thing.
Anybody that has kids, find something that your kid is interested in and take an interest in it, and then be honest with them about it.
Don't half-ass it.
Yeah,
you
don't
really
half-ass it. If they're interested in starting a band, well then try and figure out how to make that happen for them. I mean, even if it's not going to happen and they're never going to get beyond playing bad guitar in their room,
right?
Take an interest in it. Sit down, watch the videos, watch the groups that they are watching. That way you can make some kind of connection, and then you're able to expand that into other topics.
Yeah, and it's easier for your kids to talk to you, and and also get them the fuck off the internet. Get your kids off the internet, people, because apparently it's just a bunch of predators making videos of them dance like a fucking banana, and then they try and get your kids into a sex dungeon. That's so ludicrous to me. The whole process, it's like the most elaborate thing to trick a teenager.
Everything is the internet nowadays. You can't watch a TV show without them flashing. Go to our website for in-depth whatever, behind the scenes whatever. Movies, same thing.
Right. We're kind of like a podcast, so we kind of promote ourselves.
Yeah, we kind of promote ourselves on the internet. So,
but this is different. But we don't want your kids. We want your
at least there we're being straight up. We're being honest. Yes, we do talk about relationships, but we're looking at building a healthy relationship.
Right.
And
between two consenting adults.
Consenting adults, not adult and minor.
Right. Like, what the fuck? And that's kind of it's so ridiculous. It's so ludicrous. It makes no sense. None of this makes sense to me because fuck, like, it's almost as if it almost seems like his entire plan was to create like some sort of minor sex cult.
Yeah, I think what happened was that he always thought this way because his website came out before his YouTube channel became popular. So sometime between 2008 and when his YouTube channel went viral, his website was up, and this is where he's posting all this stuff and created his own religion based on coming from the earth and something to do with soil or whatever.
And it's dumb. That's the thing. It's dumb.
It's creepy. Red flags. I already had red flags going off before I even went there, but more red flags went off.
Green.
It wasn't just red flags. There were flares.
Really, exactly. It's not flags. Yeah, you're right. It is like flares, dude. Yeah. Because it's alarming. It's so weird to me, and I get it. I guess it's weird also because he's targeting kids, man.
Well, that's what I was getting at is that he already had this mentality, and once his site went viral, and he saw all these young kids, especially teenage and under girls, it just made it easy for him. More than likely he had victims before this, but now it just became, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. I'll take that fish
Yeah,
and that fish and
that's
that fish.
fucking terrible, dude. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's absolutely true. It was like shooting fish in a barrel, and he just kind of he kept
had
going.
his kick. I mean,
And then people started noticing, like, yo, this is kind of fucked up. Like, why do you have 14-year-old girls sending you rape me pictures? And he would defend his position instead of saying, you know, hey, guys, don't do that. You're children, you know, respect your body. Instead of doing that, he would, like, rape them. And he was okay with that. And when people would confront him, he
rape
would...
is inevitable according to
that's
his
true,
words.
you know?
Quote,
God damn
unquote, rape is inevitable.
Piece of garbage.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, what the hell? And then, but down at the bottom, it says it's preventable if you follow my directions, which are...
Yeah. You teaching people how to prevent rape. What a fucking joke.
I mean, it was part of my martial arts class where I actually said, this is how you can possibly prevent it. I mean, one, get your nose out of your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, pay attention to your surroundings. But yeah, I can't remember because the stuff is so fucked up.
He like I said, it's all under the guise of the quote unquote truth, which none of it is actually the truth. It's all just some convoluted nonsense by a semi-intelligent human being who kids find interesting.
Yeah, he read a paragraph somewhere on the internet.
All right.
I mean, he took what actually does kind of work and twisted it. But yeah, acting like you have a disorder in order to prevent the rape. Unfortunately,
you know how you prevent
that
rape?
doesn't
you
work.
Stop being fucking rapists. That's how we prevent rape. I don't know why people are always like, well, here's how you can prevent it. Yeah, you want to prevent rape? Don't be a fucking rapist. How about to me, it's that simple. There's no fault within a victim at all.
No, I mean, it's not the victim's fault. Now, are there things that the victim could have done?
Maybe.
Possibly. I mean, it's a possibility. The thing about rapists is that they are opportunists.
Exactly.
They select their victim very carefully, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's
not much you can really do
when you can be the best female MMA fighter out there and just go to town on them, and it probably won't make any difference.
No, that's the thing.
Because one, they're amped up. I mean, this part of my martial arts class, they're amped up, and when you're amped up with adrenaline, you can get shot and not even know you were shot because your adrenaline is pumping, and it dilutes the pain level. So you can break their nose. They're probably not even going to notice until
they're fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
By the way, they're vile creatures.
Then add drugs or alcohol in on top of that, which is also going to reduce the pain level even more.
Rage.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's tragic that we have people like this guy in the world, and it's tragic that they target kids, and it's tragic that when adults do actually confront him, he takes this position of, well, technically, because people who say the word technically always are the ones doing the wrong thing. I don't give a shit. Whenever someone says to me, Ashley, you did something wrong, and the next thing that comes out of my mouth is technically, I did something fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull that out on almost anything. You were speeding. Well, technically. I mean, no.
Exactly. The word technically is literally used to get out of sticky situations. It is the ultimate word.
He accepts he shows absolutely no remorse, and he has absolutely, I mean, it's never his fault. It's always somebody else's fault, even though he says it's my fault, but, well, there's the word but, so it's not your fault. I mean, I hear that working with inmates. I hear that quite often.
Also, parents, if you're paying for Patreon, you have every right to see the fucking channel that your child is paying for. If you are paying for a Patreon, if you agree to pay for your kid's Patreon account, yeah, sure, you can get exclusive content from this person. Let me see them.
Yeah, what kind of exclusive content are you getting?
Right. And if the exclusive content is saying all these vile things that are actually detrimental, yeah, right, and they are half truths, you know. And oh god, I hate people like that.
Yes,
like so much.
I mean, and like our channel, I mean, if you've listened to us for any length of time so far, I mean, we're not half truths. I mean, yes, we
might
do
be
look
half
at
right,
it.
but we're not half truthers.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know everything. I'm the first to admit, I don't know everything. I don't have the answers for everything. I can give you my opinion, but my opinion might be wrong. I mean, it's up to you to investigate further. I can't do all of your work for you. I mean, you're going to have to. And that's another thing. I mean, accept responsibility. I mean, if this person says something and you think it might be right, investigate it. I mean, half of my time is spent investigating. I mean, that's how this whole channel, that's how this whole podcast came to be, because I investigated. I delved deep for way too long investigating on how to make this thing happen. But I didn't take everybody's word for it. I would get something and I was like, well, that seems possible. Does it actually work? Investigate. Yeah, the information is about 4 years old. It no longer works.
Mm-hmm. And that's all it is. It's just doing your research, and any amount of research, even 10 minutes of research on this guy, you're not going to find anything good. You're not going to find anything okay. You're actually probably going to punch your kid. You're going to want to punch your kid for trying to be involved with this dude in the first place. But they're kids and they're stupid and they follow whatever they think is awesome. And that's kind of, like I said,
awesome, whatever's popular.
Right. And if you're a parent and you're paying for a kid's Patreon, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with supporting an artist. You just need to make sure that the kid's Patreon artist isn't some sort of pedophile cult leader.
And if any teenager is listening to, well, if you're underage, you really shouldn't be listening to us anyways.
Don't listen to us.
I mean, most of our stuff is...
We don't want you.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly for the adults that are a little bit further along. Not saying that you guys you don't know anything. I'm not saying that. I mean, plenty of teenagers are...
I am. You're idiots.
But yeah, I mean, you really shouldn't be listening to us in the first place. I'll leave it at that. But if any teenager is listening to us, which you shouldn't be, if anything is becoming the center of your attention and it's all consuming, especially if they're any kind of influencer, you need to investigate them thoroughly.
Right.
Go beyond.
Research
And if somebody out there is saying there's something wrong with this person, take them seriously. I mean, why are they saying that?
If somebody's justifying rape, if they're justifying anything aside from
that should have been a red flag for anybody.
Which,
oh my god!
By the way, rape, you can't rape in self-defense. So if you're justifying anything like that, you probably are a giant red flag. And I mean, I saw under one of his videos, I actually fell into this YouTube rabbit hole argument with this guy because he said sex with children isn't inherently wrong, and I was like, oh dear God,
I've actually run into people like that.
Well, you're a fucking weirdo, and I hope you don't have kids, because in his defense is that the stigma is what's wrong and it traumatizes children. You know, I don't have to explain to you guys how fucking stupid that is. And if I do have to explain it, kindly find a new podcast to listen to, because I don't advocate for harming children at all. And if you listen to this and you are one of those fucking disgusting humans, please don't.
I would go even one step further. Anybody who thinks that manipulating somebody into getting into a relationship with them, go find another podcast.
Seriously,
I mean, because I don't tolerate. Yes, I do know how to do it, and I do know how to have somebody at least give me a chance to show them what I have to offer.
It's one thing.
I'm not going to do any kind of. I'm going to if they're not interested, I walk away, and I get a lot of criticism from the pickup artist community because of that. Because I will walk away. Well, what's wrong with her? She's not interested. Well, you didn't try hard enough. No, fuck
she's
you.
just not fucking interested.
She's not interested.
Women don't have to fucking be interested. And this is, of all the issues that we've talked about today, this issue is fucking insane. Here's the thing, people. Nobody owes you a goddamn thing. People are allowed to not be fucking interested in you. And just because they're not interested does not give you the right to go try and destroy them.
And that's what Sarah was saying. Is she said, because in her video, when she was having that breakdown, she said, it's not that I don't find you handsome. You are handsome. I'm just not interested.
Right.
Leave me alone.
Leave me the fuck
And
alone.
he can't do that. And it's a term that I use, and it's called one-itis. He is focused on this one person, and because she is not coming back at him with the same level of interest, he goes absolutely apeshit.
Right. It's, she's an awful person. She's garbage. She's this. She's that. And
she's not. She changed her mind.
Yeah. And people are allowed to fucking do that, by the way. People are absolutely fucking allowed to not want to date you. And it's happened. It fucking happens.
I mean, and she already knows this. I've already explained this to her, and I'm not hiding it. Yeah, if she tells me I'm the one, I'm on the first plane to England.
That's true. John is ready for this.
Yeah, I've told her that. She's aware of it. But I respect the boundary that we have in our relationship. She wants to remain friends. We'll remain friends. I'm perfectly fine with that. I will accept whatever she's willing to give, but I'm not going to try and push her into doing more than what she's comfortable in doing.
Absolutely. And we've all, and you know what, I'll even go as far to admit, I've had breakups where I freaked the fuck out. And that's why this bothers me so much, is because anytime that happened, my breakups when I was a teenager, well, I dated the same person, and that was a really bad breakup. But I've learned. I really have. I fucking learned, and I've grown from it, and I've stopped doing these kind of fucking things. And now I'm in a mildly successful, kind of serious relationship simply because I have grown from it. This motherfucker is not growing. No, he's a narcissist who thinks he's infallible.
Yeah. This kind of stuff just I really am. I'm trying to temper, because otherwise I'll blow up my mic, and I really don't want to have to buy another microphone.
Right. Get one for Christmas, I think.
But yeah, this is like...
It's infuriating, and it hurts, and and like I said, this could have been anyone. This could have been anybody's kid.
This could have been one of my martial arts students.
Right. It could have been my little sister, and...
Yeah,
it could be your kid, Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Thank God it wasn't. But shit, this still happened, and it happened to somebody because they were in a vulnerable. Yeah, multiple people, because they were in a vulnerable situation. And the last thing you should do when somebody needs you as a person is to take advantage and then trap them in your fucking house like a servant, like a sex slave. And if you want to be a sex slave, you are allowed to be one.
Well,
but if you're
consensual,
right, be a fucking consensual one. If someone says, "Hey, I'll date your partner, but not you," and then don't try and coerce them into dating you. And by the way, that girl, it was over a span of like 13 days.
Yeah, that's the surprising part. You're talking. I think in one of the podcasts, it's like one of the first four. There's this thing. And it's something that I found out, and it's based in psychology. So I do have some science behind it. Don't ask me where I read it, because it's years old. Go research it. But guys fall in love really fast. I
don't think he falls in love though. I think he.
No, I don't. His are like he's in a separate category. But in general, guys fall in love really fast. A girl shows guy interest. Bam! Oh my gosh, we're in love.
Right.
But girls, they don't fall in love that fast. It takes some girls. But for like Sarah, she was already a fan. She already idolized him, and then as soon as he showed her some interest, yeah, she instant crush. So, there's dynamic there. But in general, I show interest in a girl. It's going to take her longer. Okay, does he do this? Does he do that? There's more checks in the box.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side of it, girls can fall out of love really fast.
Real quick.
Yeah. Real quick. You fucked up. That's it.
Yeah.
But guys, it carries on, and it takes us longer to fall out of love. So guys fall in love real fast. Girls don't. Guys fall out of love real slow. girls don't. And 13 days, boom, he's in love. She changes her mind, and now he's hooked. I mean,
13 fucking days.
13 fucking days. And
13 fucking days. Can you imagine?
He's the one that's proposing. He's already bought the ring on the second date, and he's proposing like on the third.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's not even good at this.
No, he's not. I mean,
you're not even good at this.
Relationships.
Really. Like, you're really bad at, and your advice is terrible. And it just boggles my mind how fragile a teenager is. And this is all proof of that. That in 14 days, you can literally, honestly, when I read that shit and I saw the video and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I did someone
just
for
looking
2
at the
years.
timeline, I'm like, what the fuck?
I did someone for 2 years and the timeline did not even remotely resemble. I did someone for 4 years and it wasn't even that crazy. It is insane for me to think that a damn near 30-year-old man put a fucking 18-year-old girl through this and that she is going to come out okay.
Yeah.
Damn near 30. I'm damn near 30 and I can't imagine going through that shit. That's how I know he's stuck as a teenager.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my 40s. I mean, now I've gone out with younger women, but from the outset, it's pretty much already established. We're just going to hang out and we're just going to have fun. I mean, there isn't going to be anything sexual in there because we don't want that attachment in there. I mean, a lot of people assume, yeah, there's lots of sex. No, there isn't. But
I date older, so
yeah. Well, I mean, some girls they like older guys, and well, almost every guy likes younger girls. I'm not even going to joke about that.
Yeah.
So, not completely writing off anybody that's older, but to put somebody through that just infuriates me because it makes for people like me that like hanging out. I mean, I associate better with younger people, mainly because I work with younger people. The vast majority of my crew is years younger. They're in their 20s. So I associate better with them than I do people my own age because people my own age, they're like, oh, well, what kind of medication are you taking? Man, fuck, get away from me.
Yeah, right. Like, did you get your Lipitor samples in the mail? Yeah.
Have you joined AARP yet? No.
Dude, I can't wait till I can fucking join AARP, man. Like, they got all the discounts and shit. And seriously, I think you're right. 13, God, that's a lot. It was a lot to happen in 13 days. I would have shot him.
Yeah,
I would be so tired. Like, how is she not tired?
Well, she'd probably sitting there going, what the hell? I mean, this guy just like opened up the Bombay doors and started carpet bombing her with love bombs.
Right.
I mean, oh my gosh. I mean,
Jesus,
I don't even do that.
Well, good, John. I'm really glad you don't manipulate and abuse women.
I used to. I mean, and no, I mean, but once we become like exclusive, yeah, the Bombay, I might drop one or two bombs, but I'm not carpet bombing the place.
Yeah, I'm insane, actually. And I think the person I'm dating might come on the show. So you can get a little insight into what it's like to date Ashley, because I can guarantee you, the one word that we can both agree on is exhausting. I'm quite emotional.
Yeah.
And I drink a lot.
I'm still waiting on the reply from my stalker.
Yeah, that's awesome. I forgot about that. That's so cool. I'm so excited for you, man.
Well, I mean, it kind of blew me out of left field because
we're going to get her on. See, boom. That's the one. Keep in touch. Keep in touch with Crazy because we're going to get her on the live love date, Win John a Date show. We're going to find a sponsor for that show. So guys, hit the subscribe button. Seriously, because this is my whole goal. Once this happens, I know we've made it. I know we're like, oh, Chris Hansen just released a new video, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to have to, we'll have to save this for another show. But here's what happened. Somebody listened to the show. I did a post on a social media site and just saying, hey, the show is now released. You guys have been asking for it, so here it is. Well, this new member read that post, listened to the show, and then direct messaged me she she started following. And with my followers, usually what I do is I'll send a message. Hey, thanks for following. Out of curiosity, why did you follow? Because I'm actually curious. I mean, what is it that I did that made you want to follow me? She texts back, or she sends a mail back. I'm single, wondering if you're up for a relationship. I was like, what?
That's awesome, dude. When he sent me that, I was like, what? Yes. And so I think that, okay, ladies, listen, I'm serious. I really want to get this love game show happening. And I want to sponsor, like, so we can do a whole game show kind of deal. I want this to happen. And it's clearly ready. It's in the works. You know, the universe is putting it together.
We have the technology for it. I mean, I just have to contact one person and they can run the phone screen, because you can call in live to the show and it's set up just like any talk show that you hear on the radio with phone screen and everything. And hey, we have the technology to do that. There are not many podcasts out there that have the technology to do that. And
I would like
we can put like 3 or 4 people up on the panel. And
so awesome.
Yeah.
So fun. Oh man, it would be so fun, and I would have so much fun. And I also
and we are
would
not
get to moderate the
stalkers.
shit
And
out of that.
if you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you already know hey, I can walk away very easily and we can separate as friends.
Yeah, this is just for fun, people. If you just want to be on a podcast and you're like, this sounds cool. Okay, listen, I'm not looking to get John married because then I can't have a second episode. All right? Like, here's the thing, ladies. We're trying to raise some money for, maybe we do it as a charity thing. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm lying.
And there's plenty of charities out there that I'm willing to back. Now, the ones I do not back are the ones that take like 95 cents out of every dollar.
Yeah. I know a couple of those, and like,
there's one they can't. I remember I was on base, and I almost got court-martialed for it because they came on base and they're up there, and I already did my research, and this is a very, very popular charity, and they're up there asking us for money, and I'm like, well, why don't you sell that Lear jet?
Right.
That you're flying around in. And how about instead of taking $150,000 a year as salary, you take like a normal person $45,000.
Yeah, imagine.
Oh yeah. I mean that was just his salary. That's not including the other members that are collecting more than him.
Yeah.
I mean their salary is like over $1 million a year. And this is a friggin' charity.
Right. There's a lot of money in charities, but that's not why you should start a charity, people.
No,
start a charity because you believe in helping.
Believe in helping, not making yourself rich.
Right. Once again, lying is a problem. And as we can see with this Onision episode, I hope you guys hear the fiery passion in our voices, because we hate 2 things. We hate pedophiles and we hate manipulators. If you are one of either of those things, this is not the show for you. And politely turn yourself into the police. Because you know what? There is some honor when you put yourself away, you fucking weirdos.
Yeah. And don't come into my jurisdiction, because I will have absolutely zero mercy.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, because I've been called and been paid to go out and teach somebody how to meet somebody, and I always thoroughly investigate. The first day, all I'm doing is I'm watching, and I'm really not teaching much of anything, and I just watch them. And as soon as I see those manipulator tactics come out, or that they are targeting certain people, I'm done, and there is no refund. Fuck you.
Hey, I like that. We gonna keep your fucking dirty money. I fuck with that, man. Yeah, I mean, and
I can't guarantee success. So, I mean, I want a refund because I wasn't able to get somebody. Dude, you're not getting anybody because your personality is not listening.
You suck. Maybe I'll become a pickup teacher. I'll teach people the way of the Ashley.
Just locally, I charge about $1,200 an hour.
An hour? Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
To learn how to date?
Yeah.
Oh my God, people. You need self-esteem. Oh, that's awesome. So maybe we should start offering our services. And we'll even do a discount. $800 an hour.
Well, I mean, that's just local, because I don't have to make any specific arrangements. But no, I've gone to Houston, and it's like $2,000 because I have to take off like a full day just to go out there. And
I'm so dead serious. I will literally teach people this. I think I would be a great teacher when it comes to the art of mastering dating. Man.
Yeah, I mean, all the little nuances and everything, but people like this, you go find yourself somebody else. And I have enough contacts that I can actually just sit there and email and, hey, this guy's heading your way. Don't instruct him. This is what he's after.
Do you have to become like a certified instructor?
No, it's based on your own morality. But there are people out there that have zero morals that were taught by somebody who has zero morals. And you can find them on YouTube. I mean, it's not hard. They're the guys that go up and they're just walking the street, and they'll like go up and they'll start pestering somebody and they won't let them leave.
Oh, catcalls and all that shit. That's annoying. This is awesome. Now that I know that this is a real thing, I'm probably going to become a pickup artist teacher. But I would change the name because pickup artist sounds sketchy to me. You are going to become a love investigator.
Yeah. I mean, well, we had no other name back when I started back in 92, 93-ish.
God, I was like born around that time.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And I got out in 94, 95. So I wasn't in it for a real long time, but I kept up with it just off and on. And yeah, I mean, I've actually walked through the mall with somebody and I was like, that stuff doesn't work. And pick somebody out. Her. Okay. And within no joke, within under 5 minutes, she was giving me her phone number and we had a date. And I kind of skipped out on it because I was actually involved with somebody at the time.
Well, that's awful. You're a bad person for doing that. So,
No,
John, you should give us some testimonials, right? Get us some testimonials, and we're totally going to start pimping you out to teach people how to date.
Just contact me on the website, but they better come with some cash because I'm not cheap.
And you got to pay a $40 Ashley fee because I'm a pimp, and pimping ain't easy.
Yeah, or you can go take an online course, and good luck. I mean, you'll spend no less than $800 on an online course. Good luck.
See, we should put out a cheaper one.
I can give the very core basics. I'll be comfortable with doing that. Here's the very core base. This is where you need to start, and just the very core basics.
That's all I need. I mean, listen, it's
really that's all it is. I mean, if you got the basics down, the rest of it is easy.
Right. You want to, and I think
dress nicely, brush your teeth, brush your hair, and walk straight and talk and don't mumble.
Yeah. And don't be weird. Like, be yourself. Don't be weird. It's different. Being nerdy and being weird are two totally different things. If you're a nerd, that's cool. People like nerds.
Embrace your nerdiness.
Yeah, everyone's a nerd about something. But if you're weird and like creepy and you say weird things that are like odd, like serial killer-ish or like rapey, you can't buy a course to replace stupidity. You can't learn how to not be stupid. So I don't know. Ugh, don't be you.
It would probably take, maybe, I would say it'd probably take about 3 months to actually put that together to where it's understandable.
Oh, never mind. You guys got to pay a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, we'll make it as affordable as possible. And the great thing about it is that it works for both guys and girls. I mean, there are some things that girls have to do that are slightly different. So there would be like, here's the guy side, here's the girl side. Both, you can watch both of them if you want to. But how girls approach and how guys approach are two completely different things.
Yeah.
Because not many girls just walk up and say, hey. I mean, I've had it happen, but it kind of catches me off guard because I'm like, whoa, okay, how are you doing?
That's my job.
Yeah, I'm supposed to do that.
Right. Rude. You're rude. You don't respect social norms. I can't be with you. Yeah. Okay, ladies, you hear that? Respect social norms.
No, I mean, you don't have to, but it just catches me off guard. It's not done. It's a little bit more frequent today than it was 10 years ago because more girls are actually stepping up to the plate and actually fuck social norms. I like that guy. I think he's cute. I want to talk to him. But then they have to put up with the stigma later on. But we kind of got off topic there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I think this is actually a pretty good place to end it, and we will keep you updated on these Onision files as they keep going, because I am very invested in seeing this guy put the shit.
Yeah, I want to see him go to jail. I seriously do. I want to. I want his
bank account frozen.
I know Chris Hansen is investigating. The FBI has opened an investigation, but as of right now, I have not seen anything where he has not been charged yet. I mean, there's allegations out there, but you can't charge somebody based on theory. I mean, you actually have to have hard evidence.
You have to have evidence, unfortunately.
I mean, there is evidence out there, but more than likely, they have not got enough evidence put together to where they actually create a case and actually convict him. Once they have a case where the DA is reasonably assured we're going to grab a conviction off of this, then we will see criminal charges come out. Now, if he doesn't pay his taxes, because apparently he's tax evasion.
Oh yeah, lots of it. Lots of
I mean, the IRS can go in and the IRS can fuck him up.
They can fuck anybody up. IRS is like
IRS is the most powerful agency the United States has. I mean, they can take anything and everything. Your house, your retirement, your paychecks. I mean, they can take your car. They can take anything they want.
They're worse than INS, and they like deport people. You know.
Yeah.
Like, good God, the IRS sucks.
Yeah.
And I try and stay completely off.
Luckily,
their
the IRS has some kind of compassion. They won't totally fuck you, but in cases like this,
depends.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he can still go to jail on tax evasion, but yeah, I mean, it depends on if they think it's worth it or not. Depends on how much he owes.
He owes a lot. Not like, well, no, it is a lot. Anything to me, if you owe the IRS anything, it's a fucking lot because they're just stealing your money. Yeah, I mean, you owe the IRS over. To me, if I owed him over 10 grand, that'd be a lot. Yeah.
Holy shit! I wouldn't know what to do.
You know what? Just take me to jail because you ain't about to get it. So that's funny. Seriously though, IRS, if you're listening.
Yeah, but this guy, he needs. No, fuck him. He needs to go. He's fucked people's lives. He's messed around with girls. He's scarred them for life. Fuck him. Mm-hmm. He needs to go to jail. I mean,
fuck him. He needs to go to jail. That is it.
Yeah. Hopefully that happens because him and the other people that Hansen's opening an investigation on.
Dude, like I said, if Chris Hansen never calls me and says, I'm doing an investigation on you, I'd be like, you know what, dude?
We have questions.
I'm going to jail, right? Well, yeah. Ashley, why don't you take a seat? Oh, well, you know what? I'll just meet you at the police station.
You know why I'm here?
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine. Oh, God, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean,
what a bad look.
I've watched his show, and I listen to the excuses, and I'm like,
I love his show. I love that show, dude. That is one of my favorite shows of all time because of the excuses. And one of my favorite things is when they get caught, and they're like, please don't tell my wife. I like
watching the ones trying to squirm out because... No, well, I was just coming over here. We're just going to watch some movies.
We're just watch TV, yeah.
Yeah. So you brought some beer and condoms and
you bring like condoms and natty ice and it's never good beer. They never bring these kids good beer. They always bring them like shit, just absolute shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because the rest of their income is spent on the porn sites. Haven't heard of free porn?
Right? Yeah, well, you can't pay for the kind of porn those fuckers like, but or you can't get that shit for free. It comes, and I'm sure it's costly.
Yeah, well, it's probably comes off the dark web.
Yeah, definitely. Oh God, but yeah, that show is hilarious. If you've never seen Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator, please do. Please do.
You can find it on YouTube.
It is awesome. I mean, there are some really, really good ones, and unfortunately, fortunately, no kid actually gets hurt or anything.
Yeah, you just see a bunch of... They do use actors, and they are over the age of 18.
Right, and you just see a bunch of fucking scumbags.
Shit, if they actually did try going after the actress, there's a shitload of cops outside.
Yeah, there's a good chance. And that's the best part, too. Like, am I going to go to
most
jail?
Most of the cops, they don't just... The guy's sitting there, he's walking away, and they just body tackle him out of the corner of the bushes.
Every single one of them gets
Every one of them, they get body tackled.
Like, every fucking one of them. My favorite is, am I gonna go to jail? Like, yeah, dude, you know damn well you're gonna go to jail. There was
you
one
can
guy they
leave
caught
at any
twice.
time. You're not
Right?
getting 20 steps outside the house.
There's one guy they caught like twice in the same week.
Oh yeah. The repeats. You're back.
Yeah. How
Why
the
are you
fuck?
back?
Like, I
Aren't
didn't
you
know it
on
was
parole? Don't you have paper on you?
Going to jail, man. Like, you've been there not once, but twice. You can't tell a setup. Oh, man.
Yeah.
To be stupid.
I thought this might happen, but yet you still showed up.
You still showed up. Like, the show's been on the air for 5 years. You still went to the fucking house.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
But this guy, yeah.
He's awful.
Just thinking about him. But yeah, if you guys want to go down that rabbit hole of this guy, I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there.
A lot of that.
I mean, it would make for a very entertaining movie, but there's no way if he's going to get any kind of money out of it or any kind of notoriety, and if anybody's thinking about doing a movie on him, change the name, change the circumstance, change everything so that he gets zero notoriety.
Right.
I mean, that kind of pissed me off that these guys, they make the news and then they become infamous because, I mean, Bundy, I mean, we recognize that name. We know who that is because
even he was killing adults, man.
I mean, yeah, he was out there. He was raping and killing, and
this dude's just like
famous.
a shitty Charles Manson.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? That's all. He's just a shitty Charles Manson.
Yeah, well, we don't need these people to be famous. Stop making them famous.
Yes, stop making them rich and famous and God.
Yeah.
And with that, I believe we are.
Yeah, we are out of time, and this is just going to be one single episode. I'm not dividing this up. It's going to be a long listen. I'm not doing a two-parter. This is just going to be a single episode all the way through.
Just upload this shit.